Through its research and convenings, the Center on Philanthropy and Public Policy seeks to make philanthropy more impactful today and to create a smarter, stronger sector for tomorrow.
Kevin Orr, the emergency manager for the city of Detroit, filed for bankruptcy protection under Chapter 9 in the federal court on July 18th, 2013. It was the largest and is the largest municipal bankruptcy in U.S. history. The bankruptcy was just the latest episode in the spiraling decline of an iconic American city that had been decades in the making. Simply put, the grand bargain was the imagination of Judge Rosen, who found collaborators in Detroit's philanthropic community and the philanthropic community connected to Detroit.
What does a mediator do? A mediator takes resources and distributes the resources, hopefully through consensual agreements, to creditors. There was no revenue stream available, and there were no assets that could be monetized into revenue other than the art collection. And I said I wasn't getting anywhere with the governor, so I was hoping that foundations could kickstart the funding. You know, if the foundations do decide to participate in this, we're going to need participation from other stakeholders, particularly the state. Now, I'd had many conversations with the governor and his staff about state participation, and they were not encouraging at all. But I also knew that if we could put enough money together from the foundations in this assetless bankruptcy and make this pool of money from philanthropy conditional upon the state's participation, that I could kind of leverage that with the governor. And Ford is prepared to make the largest commitment in its history. And we got up to $291 million with about 4 foundations or 5 foundations.
You have to essentially frame this as the only way to resolve the bankruptcy and to permit us to get on with the process of city building. You essentially are saying you can't do any of the work that you hope to do in the city of Detroit unless the bankruptcy is resolved. I was on the phone to all of our smaller foundations, not a single one was in. And I kept saying, you know, what will it take? What can we provide? And what it took was an analysis of the conditions of engagement.
I think we haven't talked about the risk that we also created for philanthropy, which is the expectation that it's the role of private philanthropy to solve these huge public problems, because it's not the role of foundations to solve the fact that a city has committed a grave malfeasance over decades. It is in our interest to have a fully capacitated, high-functioning municipal government.
Detroit didn't get to where it was overnight. It took 5 or maybe even 6 decades to slip into the brink of oblivion. I'll tell you this, I'm a lifetime Detroiter. I cannot remember a more optimistic time in the city's history than now.